20 years ago, everyone was fascinated by Alan and Marie's sudden disappearance during their honeymoon. It was a big mystery that left everyone confused and wondering. Then, unexpectedly, a woman came forward claiming to be Marie. She was ready to tell the incredible truth about what happened to them. As she entered the dimly lit room, she looked unsure, and you could see a mix of emotions in her eyes. People were eager to know what really happened to Marie and Alan during their honeymoon. Government officials were surprised by what seemed like her coming back to life. They couldn't believe she was here because everyone thought she was dead, but when they saw her old passport photo, they realized it was really her, just a bit older and more tanned. As she talked, they noticed her English wasn't as good as before, like she hadn't spoken it in a long time. Still, when she explained what happened to her and her husband, the officials knew they had to help. They wondered how she managed to stay hidden for so long, where her husband Alan was, and most importantly, how they survived all those years. 20 years ago, after Alan and Marie's marriage, they decided to take a beautiful South American honeymoon. They had always heard about the beauty of the Amazon forest and wanted to see it in person. They had the time of their lives there, taking a sightseeing tour every single day. However, it wasn't long before disaster struck. The morning had started like any other, but when their tour guide was waiting in front of their cabin, the wait was exceptionally long. Antonio knew that something was wrong and was quick to call property security. They were shocked when they finally opened the door, fearing what they might see inside. There was no one there. It was as if they had never even gone to bed. They knew they had to alert Alan and Marie's families of their predicament. After they notified their families, they deployed rescue units to help search for the couple. Special units had gone into the jungle, and helicopters had flown overhead for weeks, but with no sign of life. Despair soon took over. The care packages they had dropped were all left untouched, and Alan and Marie were proclaimed dead. Some relatives started to believe strange ideas, saying that Alan and Marie had left their honeymoon place too perfectly, as if they had just disappeared without a trace. Even after 20 years, their families couldn't find much closure, and the pain still hurt. Marie's mom never really got over losing her daughter. She tried to move on with her life, but everything around her reminded her of Marie. When Marie suddenly returned, it was like a shock to her mom's heart. She had to pinch herself to make sure she wasn't dreaming. When Marie talked about what happened, people doubted her story at first, but when they saw her old passport photo, they knew it was her. Marie's English had gotten worse over the years, and she struggled to explain what had happened. It was like she hadn't spoken English in ages. This frustrated her, as the officials said she would need to tell them everything. With every word she uttered, it became apparent how long she'd been away from civilization. We walk, she started, her voice shaky. Night beautiful, Alan and me wanted sea stars. She clenched her hands, frustration evident, trying to pull words from a language she barely recognized anymore. The couple, intoxicated by the natural beauty of the Amazon and the allure of their recent vows, ventured out of their cabin. They had assumed that they knew their way, that nature in all its grandeur was inviting them deeper. Their trust in their own sense of direction would be their downfall, but as dawn approached, the enveloping jungle around them became a maze they hadn't anticipated. Morning light piercing through the dense canopy. Every tree looked the same, every pathway seemed to lead them deeper into the heart of the unknown. As they wandered near the cabin, the forest beckoned with its secrets, mysterious rustlings, the echoing calls of distant animals, and a chorus of chirping insects filled the air. The vastness of the jungle loomed around them, making every direction look eerily similar. Days turned into nights and back into days, with their voices growing hoarse as they screamed out for any sign of help. After listening to her, efficiently and with haste, the officials began to gather supplies. Medical kits packed with bandages, antiseptics, and emergency medication were prepared. Rations and fresh water, satellite phones, and sturdy machines were all made ready for the unknown journey ahead. Marie, though still struggling with her memories and language, tried to guide their preparations. With supplies packed and resolve steeled, the group began their trek into the dense forest. Each step they took was into an ever-deepening puzzle, with Marie as the only guide. The expanse of the jungle stretched out as far as the eye could see. Towering trees, dense underbrush, and the cacophony of unseen animals emphasized the enormity of the terrain. The officials felt the weight of the wilderness, realizing they were mere specks in this vast, uncharted realm. As the landscape around them grew wilder, so did Marie. Her steps became more assured, her eyes sharper. The hesitant, fractured English speaker began to move with an ease that belied her years of isolation. In this environment, her instincts and deep connection to the jungle were evident, commanding respect from the officials. As night descended, the team set up camp, the symphony of the jungle, chirping crickets, distant roars, and rustling leaves, played around them. With dawn, Marie took the lead, her pathfinding skills coming to the forefront. She navigated the dense forest with an uncanny sense of direction, identifying landmarks and retracing steps she had once taken. Each evening, as they settled by the fire, the group was wrapped in a mix of exhaustion and expectation. The deeper they ventured, the more they felt the weight of the impending unknown. Each day brought a new challenge, testing their endurance and adaptability. As days melded into one another, the air grew thick with unease. Every misplaced step, every misunderstood gesture intensified the strain. This would be their last night before reaching the place Marie had indicated, and the aura of the unknown was more potent than ever. As night deepened, a faint rhythmic sound echoed through the trees. A distant melody, tribal and ancient, wafted towards them, carried by the gentle wind. The soft thud of distant drums, the hum of voices, it all pointed towards the presence of a tribe. Hope surged within the group. Could this be where Alan was? It wasn't the natural light of a campfire, but something otherworldly. The sight both enthralled and mystified the team. What could be the source of such an unusual luminescence? As the dense trees gave way to an opening, the group found themselves suddenly encircled by tribespeople, painted faces and elaborate adornments, weapons poised. A soft murmur arose as one of the tribespeople stepped forward, eyes locked onto Marie. Their stern expressions melted into smiles as they approached her, touching her shoulder gently. It was evident they shared a profound bond. Marie nodded to show she understood, and it was clear she was in charge. It was obvious that Marie knew these people well. With the tribe's protection, the group went deeper into the jungle. They saw huts, children playing, and the busy sounds of daily life. They found the center of the tribe, where people lived close to nature. Talking was hard because the tribe spoke a language the officials didn't understand. Marie helped translate as much as she could. It was clear she had been with the tribe for a long time. The day ended with a new respect and hope for what was next. In the middle of the tribal village, they found Alan. Marie ran to him, and their hug showed how much they loved each other. As time passed, they shared stories of their experiences over the past 20 years. They talked about being scared at first, the challenges they faced to survive, and how they learned to trust the tribe. The tribe helped them, taught them their customs, and in return, Marie and Alan shared what they knew about the outside world. The tribe became like a safe place for them, where they felt they truly belonged. With the help of a language expert, they learned more about each other. It wasn't just about surviving anymore. They chose to stay with the tribe because they liked their way of life. At first, the tribe was cautious of outsiders, but Marie and Alan's genuine interest in their culture helped them fit in. However, Alan got sick with a disease the tribe didn't know about. Marie had to go back to the outside world to get help. Doctors found out what was wrong with Alan and gave him medicine to help him feel better. As time went on, Alan got stronger, and Marie was really thankful for the help, but they had grown attached to the tribe and weren't sure if they wanted to go back to the modern world.